Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, the Raptor, and I'm back with another episode of the Raptor Reaction and Review. Oh boy. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a 2014 thriller sci-fi film. That movie is The Purge, Anarchy. Yeah. So, before anybody goes and asks, I have seen the first Purge, and it was okay. It wasn't really anything special. I didn't... if I find it for like $5, I'd buy it, but you know, it wasn't exactly the greatest film ever. And I did think, though, the idea was kind of interesting at least. Now, The Purge Anarchy, this actually seems like a really good idea for the sequel. Because the one thing I really didn't like about the first one is the fact that it's just a family in a house, when this thing, it's like the entire town, and we get to see all this crazy stuff from what I've heard. However, the last time I heard that a movie was good, the last time these people that I was talking to told me this was a good movie, they also told me that Oculus was a good movie. So you know what? I can't totally trust them. Either way, I have no idea what I'm about to watch, because it's been a while since I've seen The Purge. But I remember it being at least okay, so I'm kind of hoping this movie doesn't, like, suck, you know. Anyhow, there's only one way to find out, and that's if I shut up and watch the movie. So you know what, guys? I'll be back in a few minutes, and until then, I'll see you around. Okay, guys, I've been listening to this movie, just how what they're talking about. Instead of just locking down and preparing for the Purge, why don't you just leave? I don't get it. Like, honestly, I know these people are poor, but couldn't you just leave the country for the 12 hours? Granted, this is America, and they probably would be stupid enough to do something like this and wouldn't think about it because they want the chance to kill everybody, but that's beside my point. Why don't you just leave for 12 hours? Furthermore, why do people wait to the exact moment of it happening? Like, why do you wait to the exact moment of it starting? Like, I don't get it. Either way, though, I am kind of interested in where this is going. Yep. Well, guys, not only is this movie started off and it's pretty slow, and even though The Purge is an action which should be pretty interesting, the most interesting thing we've seen is two guys being gunned down by a chain gun. Not only has this film been kind of slow and boring, it's also sort of... It's trying to... I don't know, it's like... It seems almost like they're kind of demonizing Christianity. And the thing is, we have these two of our main characters right here. And technically, like, their house is being broken into. I should totally care for them right now, but... I don't care for either of them. Alright, you guys, you know what this movie's main problem is? It's got an awesome idea. Like, this is an awesome idea about this whole Purge sort of thing. It's a really cool idea. And it would make, like, an awesome video game, even. The problem is, we have no reason to care for anybody in this movie. Alright, so... The only person who's even remotely likable, his name is Sergeant, apparently, because they haven't even said his name yet. Oh, and they just let a homeless person on fire. Okay, wow, if I actually cared about anything that was going on, that might mean something. Oh, please tell me he dies. Please tell me he dies. This guy was so obnoxious. Well, guys, I never thought I would see this in a movie, but they were able to make an intense, slow-motion shootout boring. I don't know how they did, but they succeeded. And I still don't care for anybody in this movie. Even with Sergeant's whole, my son was killed, this is why I'm purging. Why should we care? I'm hoping these people die. I hate every single one of them. It's over? Oh, thank you, Lord. It's finally over. Well, guys, that was the Purge Anarchy. And that sucked. Let me get this discount. My... Jeez, was that bad? I mean, sure, the first one had plenty of problems and all that, but it was still at least somewhat good. This... This is easily one of the worst films I've ever seen, you guys. Like... This is easily up in the top 5 or 10 worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh man, that was painful. You guys, that movie was an hour and 43 minutes. An hour and 43 minutes, which I am never going to get back. And you know what? That makes me really, really annoyed, because I wanted something good out of this movie. Instead, I got what is debatably one of the worst movies of all time. So, yeah, let's just start off with this horrible writing, because that's probably this movie's biggest flaw. Now, for those of you who don't understand what The Purge is, let me put it this way. The Purge is 12 hours when all crime is legal and people can just do whatever they want. Sounds good on paper. I don't mean that realistically. That sounds like the dumbest idea ever made. For a movie, though, about like people trying to survive that, sounds amazing on paper. Poorly executed twice. And now they're making a third one, which comes out next year. However, I might actually go see the third one because it's going to be on the first Purge, which actually would be kind of interesting to see how people react to that. It's sort of like going to be explaining a lot of the problems which I had with this. See, guys, this movie takes place in 2023, during the time of the 6th Purge. Okay, you know what? Why does this Purge happen? That's my first question. 2, they claim that it reduces crime. How? 3rd, who are the new fathers that they keep speaking of? 4th, how the heck in any way on heaven or earth did this ever get passed to the government? 5, why? You guys, I have blasted 5 plot holes through this movie. And if you even think about that for more than 2 minutes, you're gonna hate this movie. I totally did. And you know what? It's easy, with most films, if there's a plot hole, you can not think about it. It doesn't help, though, when they keep bringing that plot hole back and keep referencing it every 10 minutes. I kid you not. Wow, this was just a horrible movie. So, yeah, the story was absolutely terrible, and that's all I really have to say about it. It's about a group of 5 people trying to survive the Purge. That should be awesome. It totally wasn't. Our characters have no depth. They have no personality, and we have no reason to care for any of them. The closest we get is the main character, Sergeant, who is the only character who is even remotely cool, but at the end he becomes a total jerk and goes sociopathic, even though a lot of stuff happens, and it's implied he dies, because the ending is really stupid. And pretty much, the only real motivation he has for even wanting to be out here Purge night is because his son was killed 12 months ago, and as he was driving over to the house of the guy who killed his family, he saw the two of the other main characters being taken off somewhere, which they never really explained what that whole personal purge was, unless they're trying to say the same martyr thing, like... And that too, they don't explain who Big Daddy is, they don't explain who the EFFN is, like, they don't explain anything, you guys, and it gets really annoying and really obnoxious really fast. But, of course, he can't bring himself just to drive by them, which is ironic, because he was going with a knife to essentially to cut a man to pieces. And, of course, they meet 2 other people, and they're on the run trying to survive the Purge. And, of course, the movie ends with one of them dying, even though he was the most unlikable character in the film, and when he gets gunned down by a machine gun, I was genuinely happy. It ends with Shane getting shot, and the Purge ending, and the other 2 main characters, they take him to the hospital, and they say, it's over. Which, you know what? Those are the greatest words that this movie has to offer, are simply, it's over. Because the movie ends on that. Alright? And another big problem this movie has is it thinks it can be edgy and tough by saying the F word, the C word, the S word, the H word, the A word, the both B words, both C words, non-stop throughout this entire movie. Like, some characters, every other... This is one character. He's in the movie for about 7 minutes. Literally, for about 5 minutes, every other word he says is a swear word. You can do that in comedies, in action movies. You can do that in movies when you're trying to make fun of it. But when you're trying to make a movie which is really serious about anarchy and about people trying to survive and all that, having people swear every other second really doesn't make it seem more intense. It makes it seem way stupider than before. Man, this movie was bad. And I've only just started talking. This movie's logic, like, apparently there are people there's like this thing called the personal purge, where you can pay for someone to come and then these people will kill you. Why would you do that? Second, there's a character named Big Daddy. He works for the EFFN. What's the EFFN? Who's Big Daddy? What's his motivation and what's his reasoning? Why is he doing what he's doing? Why are all these trucks showing up and kidnapping people? Who's the society of people that keep taking these people and paying $200,000 to hunt them? How long has this been going on? It's been happening since the first Purge? Is this really what always happens during the Purge? And finally, why is the Purge even happening? Does anybody not notice how such a stupid idea this is? And I don't want anybody to give me that excuse that actually the Purge could work. If you honestly think that Anarchy for 12 hours would work, no, it wouldn't. You know, it would work Anarchy for the rest of your life. And we would all regret that within 10 minutes of it starting, because half of us would be dead. Alright, I'm glad I got that out of me. This was really getting on my nerves. Now, to this film's credit, the writing does have a couple very, 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 very brief but good moments. And most of those happen when the actual Purge is going on. Which is ironic for a movie called The Purge, that's an hour and 46 minutes, we spend maybe half an hour actually purging. Which is really sad, you guys. But see, when they actually are doing the Purge, when they're going around killing everybody, that's interesting. That's, I dare even say, entertaining. In a really twisted way. I would much rather see a Purge movie about just people killing, not about them trying to figure out where do we go next. Oh, your friend didn't have a car. Oh, you lied to me. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see the Purge. I want to see Anarchy, which doesn't even make any sense considering the fact that it's subtitled Anarchy. It's right in the title on the movie, but you know what? Anarchy never even comes up once aside from the title. And I think somebody mentioning it once. And sure, there's this whole rebellion and stuff like that. But you know what? The second the Purge starts, that's anarchy. So if they're saying they want to throw the world into anarchy so they can stop the Purge, newsflash here, it already is anarchy. Okay, I think I got all the writing out of the way. My gosh, was this bad. But what about the acting? Well, the actors, most of them, are flat, wooden, lifeless, forgettable, and I honestly can't remember any of the actors, and this movie just ended. The only character who even does a halfway decent job is Sergeant. We don't even get to know his real name, okay? Because he is too edgy for real words, and apparently he's got some whole criminal record or something, according to Big Daddy at the very end. But no, they don't explain that either, but I'm going back to writing. All the actors aside from Sergeant, they just didn't care. But you know what? I'm not going to blame them, because you can only do so much with a bad script. You can only work with the script that has been given to you. And the script that was handed to these people and told to make it work didn't work. Special effects? Okay, here's where the movie actually does something right. The practical effects, like the blood, actually looks okay. Then again, they're using squibs and like fake blood. It's pretty hard to mess that up. Unless you go with CG blood, which I can't stand. But luckily this movie actually had the common courtesy not to. Yeah. Other than that, like, there's people who have weird masks, weird tattoos. There's a flaming bus in one shot. That was one of the best effects in the entire movie. And it's in the background for, like, all of 5 seconds. You know how bad that is when I have to come out and say a flaming bus that's in the background for 5 seconds adds nothing to the story, is better than most of the effects throughout this entire movie? Oh, man. Music, I totally forgot what any of this music was. Alright, I just finished watching it. I forgot any music that was in this. I don't even think there was that much music, but I forgot anything that was in it. So that should tell you what I think about the music. And, let's see. Lighting, it's all set during the night, it's all yada yada yada. So, it's going off of street lights, or underground lights, or like fires that are going on. The lighting actually works okay. And the camera work is okay. It's shaky a few times, but overall, the technical stuff isn't that bad. But then again, it's by Universal, and you'd have to go out of your way for a big budget company to make a big budget movie and mess up the technical stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I've seen it happen before, but I'm just talking here. Wow. When it comes down to it, do you guys think I can recommend The Purge Anarchy? No. I can't. To anyone. And they're making a third one. So you know what? Don't watch the second one at all. The first one. I'd recommend the first one. You know, it wasn't anything amazing. It was far better than this. It wasn't anything amazing, but at least it was actually more entertaining than this. This movie was just an unbelievable waste of time and money. These people, these actors, I could tell, they can do good. They just didn't want to because the script was so terrible. So, yeah, if anybody at Universal ends up watching this, here's my advice for making The Purge 3 and knowing how stupid these are and how much money they somehow make through to idiots like us. They're probably going to make more. So here's 2 suggestions. One, that whole prequel idea you have is a good idea. Actually, make a prequel movie on The Purge that cuts back and forth between The Purge, like the first Purge, and the New Fathers and all that stuff, and like tell the story of what led to the creation of The Purge. Not just, oh, there was crime and there was unemployment and it was too high, so we just let people kill each other. Because that doesn't work. Okay, it just doesn't. Even from a stupid movie plotline, even compared to Sharknado, that doesn't work. Do you know how bad that is? Guys, even compared to The Room, this plot doesn't work. I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, so go with the prequel idea. That's a pretty good idea. And my other idea is this. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of these kinds of movies, but make a found footage movie. Make a found footage Purge movie from the perspective of the people who are purging, not from the people who are trying to survive. Because the survivor stories is really boring, okay? It's old and it's boring. What I want to see is, I want to see a Purge movie where it's a first-person perspective from the people doing the purging. That would be cool. You know what would be even better? A Purge video game. You guys, this is an awesome idea of you get 12 hours to essentially just to do whatever you want. And I know people are going to say, oh, that's Grand Theft Auto. No, Grand Theft Auto, you can get busted for it. Like an online game, like a multiplayer game, where you can create a character and customize your weapons, your stats, your abilities, and all that kind of stuff. And then you get to go online and fight against everyone else. Kind of like World of Warcraft, but as if it was somehow more messed up than it already is. But yeah, as for the Purge Anarchy, the movie, no, I can't recommend it. This movie was an absolute waste of time. I'm glad I didn't even consider purchasing it, although I had at one point. I am very glad I didn't, otherwise I would have returned it, sold it, or burnt it. It gets half a Raptor claw, so half a Raptor claw out of 4, strictly because the stuff when there actually was a Purge... oh man, I'm tired. This movie was that boring. When there actually was a Purge, was entertaining. So now what? Well, unbelievably, you guys, there was an episode of Rick and Morty when they told the entire story of the movie I just saw in about 15 minutes, and it was funny, it was well done, and it was entertaining. I'm going to go watch that and just try and forget I ever watched this. So you know what, guys? Until next time, this is the Meteor Raptor saying keep cool, and I will see you guys around. Later.